Hello friends! This is something that I've gotten some questions about recently, and it's going to be about the Elite Club, and it's this Elite Training button. So from the Heroes tab, you can click on Elite Training, and these are going to be 5 of your leveled heroes, your 5 highest leveled heroes. And then down below, you'll see little plus signs here where you can add extra heroes that will automatically be leveled to the level of this hero. That hero up front is going to be your lowest hero. So you can see 68, 67, 70, 68. These two are my low ones. And then down below you can see everybody's 67. When you go in here, then you'll also see that there are quite a few level 1 heroes. So the question I get all the time is, which 5 heroes should I level? Which ones should I not level? One way you can find out who your best heroes are is to reset everybody. When you go in your hero tab, your heroes are always in power order, so it'll start with your strongest. I wanted to re-record this, so they're level 68. We're going to go back to them being level 1 in a second, but I want to make it very clear how I pick my best heroes. So these are my heroes. I've removed all of my gear from my top 8 actually, so I'm then going to compare them. First, to decide which cat I want to use, I'm pretty much just looking at Robin and Ezreal, even though Orpheus is up there as my second strongest. He's an epic hero. You can see they only have 2 skills down here versus your legendary cats have 3 skills. So you're always going to want to lean more towards legendary than epic when you have options. Ezreal and Robin are both very strong heroes, but Ezreal is a more recent season hero than Robin, so that kind of automatically makes him better. He also has a few more petals, and just in general, his March skills are very, very, very strong. I love Robin for Arena, but Ezreal's going to win out for your main March. So, best cat, Ezreal. Next, we're going to look at tanks. So at this point, we're pretty much comparing Ashe and Ethan. Raymond, it's hard to get shards for him for the most part, so he's never really going to get very high. Ashe is one that you get shards for in the event, so the fact that he's my highest power one right now, and I can very easily get more shards for him in the event, I'm going to go ahead and lean into Ashe being my best tank. But in Arena, Ethan is a very good, strong starting tank for free-to-play players. So generally, you're going to want to have these 2 for your Arena team. Then for my best dogs, it's between Bella and Melody. You can see here, what I'm going to look at is this. Melody has 4 stars and then 3 petals. Bella has 4 stars and 4 petals. So I'm just going to go for Bella. Most people are going to have Yuri as their best dog. This was just a very, very unloved account. Now we're going to go back to everybody being level 1. So my main heroes for my March are going to be these 3. And then my extra Arena team 2 is going to be Ethan, because you want to have 2 tanks up front if you have a second tank. Sometimes you don't have a good second tank. Even though he's lower, I would use Robin over these 2 because Robin has a stun and his stun is super overpowered. So this is how I found out who my best 3 heroes are for my main team and who my extra 2 are going to be for my Arena team. The next thing to check from there is to see if they're already in the Elite Training Club. And in this case, Bella is. Ethan is. Alright, so I'm going to go in here and I'm actually going to remove Bella so that I can level her up with my main hero. The reason I like to have my 3 main March heroes as my ones that are being leveled is because A, you don't always level them all equally. Sometimes one's a little bit higher and you'd rather that be on your March. And B, when it comes to block conquest, you can then take the experience from the other 2 heroes and boost your block team. So I used to do that before all of my heroes were 80 just to give my team a little bit more of a boost. Since we already know who our top 3 are, I'm going to go ahead and level them. I am getting my heroes about to 70, so I'm going to go to 68 for my best 3 right now. The next thing I'm going to do before I level my other ones up is come down here and see who my weakest heroes are. And I'm going to remove them from the Elite Club if any of them are there. So first we'll start with Miguel, Zephyr, and Boris because they're my 3 lowest ones. So here's Boris. He's my favorite. It's very sad. There's Miguel. So we'll remove them, and you can see it gives you a cooldown. So tomorrow I can then go in and put in heroes there. So we're also going to take out Suki, Dora, and Haru. Alright. The reason why I didn't do Raymond is this. On my week account, I have 4 marches. You want to make sure you have 4 tanks, 4 cats, and 4 dogs. So we've got 1, 2, 3. And I'd rather have this one as number 4 than that one. For tanks, 1, 2, and then you'll see my next 2 options on my top heroes are these blue guys. We'll do dogs first. So dog, dog, dog. All right, so now we need 2 more tanks and 1 more dog of the ones down below. So 1 more dog is easy. Cecilia is lovely. And then we actually do want Boris and Raymond. So the reason why, I'll show you what that looks like when we send marches out. We click Occupy. That's beautiful. That's my main team. So march. My next best 3, beautiful, march. This is my next best march. I would not want to send Ryan because Ryan does not provide any benefits to the march. So I will not level him. Instead, I will come in here and swap him out with somebody else. So that is my 3rd best march. And again, when I click Occupy, it's going to pre-fill with these blue heroes. But we are going to swap them out for our next best ones. And then I always obviously level Hetty. You should be using Hetty to save cheese. So that is 4th march. The cool thing is, once you've sent out those 4 marches, you can see who is not marching. So obviously I want to level Hetty, and this kind of shows me that those 2 are not in my top 4. So we can go ahead and remove them. And then this is where I would end things for today. Tomorrow I will come in and I'm going to show you then what the next step would be. At this point we have our 5 heroes that are going to be on our main march and arena team are leveled. We have a lot of unleveled heroes because we cleared out down below, but not a big deal. And then in 24 hours, we'll come back and we'll fill in all the rest of these gaps. At this point, it has now been 24 hours, so you'll be able to see the plus signs are back, which means that we can fill in heroes. Similarly to how we did it before, we're going to look at sending out marches. So I am going to be checking the levels on my heroes. And anybody that is not leveled, we are going to level. March. 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 So this, I'm going to go ahead and make sure Wyatt is in there, because even though Hetty is one of my 4 cats, I want to make sure I have a 5th cat that is leveled that provides buffs other than just stamina reduction. So we are going to go in there right now and go ahead and add Wyatt. Alrighty, let's see the other ones. Alright, so Wyatt then, Yuri, and then Boris. So we're going to add them in now too. Yuri and Boris. Okay. at this point, it has now been 24 hours, so you'll be able to see the plus signs are back, which means that we can fill in heroes. Similarly to how we did it before, we're going to look at sending out marches. So I am going to be checking the levels on my heroes, and anybody that is not leveled, we are going to level. March. 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 So this, I'm going to go ahead and make sure Wyatt is in there, because even though Hetty is one of my 4 cats, I want to make sure I have a 5th cat that is leveled that provides buffs other than just stamina reduction. So we are going to go in there right now and go ahead and add Wyatt. Alrighty, let's see the other ones. Alright, so Wyatt then, Yuri, and then Boris. So we're going to add them in now too. Yuri and Boris. Okay. So this is now my 4th strongest march, and then I also have Hetty leveled. If I had 5 or 6 marches, I would of course then add a 5th and 6th for each of the slots. So that would be those 2 cats. For the 2 tanks, it would be those 2. So with the dogs, it's a little bit trickier. We've got these 4 dogs. Dora is definitely my number 5. So that is easy. The other 3 all only have 1 skill that is useful in combat. Haru provides a healing increase, but he also provides an attack boost. Suki has an ability like Hetty, where he reduces hunting march speed, but he also has an enemy damage reduction skill. Zephyr also gives training capacity boost and training speed boost, but also for combat provides an attack boost. So I would probably go ahead and do Zephyr for my 6th march if I had a 6th march with the current heroes that I have. You'll notice I never got Jerry because I didn't really play Season 1 on this account. I obviously don't have Harold or Zoe because it's a completely free to play account. So again, this is my heroes and what I would do with them, but I wanted to show you how I go through and how I would pick my heroes to help others be able to figure out how to do theirs. Okay, the other cool thing is once you send out all of these marches, this is my 4th one, we're marching. When you go in here, if any of them were marching on this list, it would say marching. So if I had sent out a march, and one of the heroes that was marching was a hero I did want to level because it was in my top 4, that's how I would know. I would want to make sure I recall that march back and immediately put that hero that was marching in the academy. In this case, that quote-unquote strongest hero that pre-filled was a blue hero, and we are not planning on leveling him in my case because I only have the 4 marches. That said, I do still have 3 more slots ready to go. There are kind of 2 different ways you could go about this. If I go to loot a level 8 deserted food depot, because I have level 1 troops and my march capacity isn't super high, I actually am not going to loot this whole resource node unless I swap that hero out or swap out my troops. So this is what it gave me before. If I got rid of some level 1 troops, I could then, send higher troops and do it that way. Alternatively, you might want to level that blue hero. Maybe that's the difference on whether or not you could send that out without having to adjust the march, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to put Adela in, and I'm going to check that resource node and see that for me, because this is a farm account and I want to make it easy, to me it would be worth it to go ahead and level Adela so that I can send that march out that way and she can they can get the whole resource node. If you were playing this account as your main account, I would probably go the route of the heroes I would level if I had 6 marches, which again would have been these 2. But for me, I'll go ahead and I will put in these blue heroes so that when I look at the resource nodes, that I can automatically fill this number. So see, that's 11 million. If we add our little froggy guy and then go back, we don't need to adjust it and we loot the 14 million. So for me, that's what I would do. These last couple heroes don't really matter all that much. You can always take them out later. As new seasons are released, you are going to have situations where you need to remove heroes so that you can add new heroes in. The other way you can do that is to unlevel one of these 5 and then replace it with the new season hero. So like, hopefully I get a better dog than Bella. Hopefully I get a better cat than Orpheus kind of thing. So then I could go in here, level reset, and then instead level up the new hero, and then they just become part of my top 5 up here. So I went ahead and put in my blue heroes for my last couple spots because I have everything I need for my 4 main marches. I've got my heady, and I just want to make gathering easier because this is specifically a farm account. Like I said, you would pick different options if this is your main account and your goal was to do as much damage as possible, especially if you're doing something like Eternal Land, where when your heroes are injured, it will fill in your next heroes. That's when it would kind of matter what your 5th and your 6th best march is looking like, or your 7th or 8th best march. So all said and done, this is what my heroes look like. I have not leveled these guys at the bottom, so oftentimes you're going to see legendary heroes with low stars. Your blue heroes are going to be there, and or your resource heroes, which the blue heroes are resource heroes. But in my case, I wanted to make sure they were leveled to make it easy with my level 1 troops to be able to loot an entire level 8 resource node. From here, do not be tempted to level these level 1 guys. You only want to level your 5 heroes here. Okay? If you have a level 1 hero that you are tempted to level, you want to unlevel one of these 5 or remove a hero from here. And again, you can level reset here if you get a new hero. Like, hopefully I can replace Bella and Orpheus as some of my better heroes, but again, very unloved account. Once all of your heroes are 80, then you can level up your level 1s, but that does take quite a bit of time and quite a bit of experience. So I hope that helps you figure out who you want to put in your elite club and who you want to level, and happy gaming!